What's up, guys? Today, as the title suggests, I wanted to break down what Operations Mode is in Battlefield 1, go through all of the patch changes that came as part of the fall update on November 15th, November 16th in that time frame, and lastly, I'll give you some tips and tricks to best maximize your success when you're playing this mode in Battlefield 1. So let's get to it. First off, what is it? Operations Mode's a new game mode to the Battlefield series, specifically Battlefield 1, but I imagine it'll be incorporated into future Battlefield games as well, and it's a bit of Conquest and Rush mode, more so toward the Rush mode side of things. It's available in 40 and 64 player variants, and I suppose it's DICE wanted to make a mode that sort of more realistically portrayed how a battle would go down, as opposed to a single Rush mode being one map, 10 minutes, done. This one would be a larger scale multi-map encounter that would extend from one region or one map to another, and I imagine that's how it was born. So let's go into it. Let's see how it plays out. So you start the mode, enter the first map. What's next? Similar to Rush, you either start as an attacker or a defender. As an attacker, you have to capture the 2, sometimes 3 objectives depending on how big the map is, which are similar to conquest flags to open up the next sector. If you capture both objectives, you move to the next sector. There's usually 4 to 5 of these sectors per map, and one thing to note, the attackers have to capture both objectives to advance to the next sector, but they do not need to capture them at once. You can capture one, then go to the next one. You don't have to get both at once. The more players standing inside a particular capture area, the faster the objective will be secured. Defenders, well, obviously try and stop you from doing this. Attackers have 3 total chances to continue to advance, and depending on whether you're playing in the 40 or 64 player modes, anywhere between 200 to 250 tickets to take all of the sectors. So, for example, say you're playing on one map, and say you're playing the 40 player operations mode. If the attackers get all 200 tickets drained and don't take a sector, they respawn again with the full 200 tickets to try again, and this time are granted a behemoth, which, of course, the behemoth depends on the type of map you're playing. If it's like Oil of Operations, you get the dreadnought. If it takes the attackers 2 shots to take all 4 sectors on one map, it means that once you've beaten that map, you only have 1 shot to take all 4 sectors on the next map. So in that second map, say you fail as the attackers, that's it for operations. You have 3 total, depending on how. So if one operation might be 3 maps, if you take 2 maps with 2 different tries, it means you have in the third map 1 try to take the whole map. So it's very important that attackers stay coordinated throughout the whole process if you want to go the whole length of all the maps. If the attackers take, say, 2 of 4 sectors, they'll get a behemoth to start this next time, and they left off where they were, as opposed to beginning the whole thing again, the whole operation. As you could tell, with the potential of 750 tickets on an attacking team's disposal, matches can get quite long, so bear this in mind before you enter a match. If you can't stay around long, or if you're like me and you have awful internet, if your internet's acting up, don't bother joining it. You'll just get disconnected, won't help the team, etc. So again, there's 4 operations in this game. Conquer Hell, Iron Walls, Oil of Empires, and Kaiserschlacht. Each feature 2 to 3 maps which have a chance to be played, and if the attackers advance to a new map, count as 1 match. So say, for example, Oil of Empires features Foul Fortress, Suez, and Sinai Desert. That's 1 operation. Now I wanted to give you some notes as well as tips and tricks for the Operation game mode. The fall patch changed up the balance for Operation mode. For 64 players, attackers get 250 tickets per sector. It used to be 150. And for the 40 player mode, attackers get 200 tickets as opposed to it being 150. Attackers now can capture objectives quicker than they used to. So this patch, basically in general, from the logic presented to you, suggests that it really helped out the attackers. Perhaps a little too much, I'd say. But again, I played a small sample size. I see based on the trials and tribulations and the larger sample size of the community in general to sort of gather at that opinion. We'll see. Someone always runs the stats on it. If you're playing as a defender and you lose your sector, retreat to the new sector. Don't stay and fight. The reason for this is you get 100 points if you successfully retreat to the next sector. Retreating not only helps you for points, but it also helps because defenders being killed before reaching the new sector gives attackers 3 more tickets per kill. As a defender, if you stay in this captured sector, you become highlighted, so with the entire enemy team hunting you down, it's extremely easy to get killed. So you don't want to add more tickets to a team that just took an area from you. So take your 100 points, drop back, learn to fight again. Based on that, an interesting point to note. If it looks like you're not going to be able to retreat, if you end up killing yourself, like jumping on a grenade, jumping into barbed wire, I don't know, find some way to die, the enemy team doesn't get any tickets and you get the retreater bonus. So keep that in mind. Much like Rush, especially if you're the defenders, don't overextend yourself going for kills. I've seen tons of teams push the attackers back, and instead of regrouping and waiting for the counterattack, they'll push up getting greedy for kills, the attackers get behind them, objective lost. The kills will come. You really need to hold on to your advantage of them needing to come to you and you react to them. Don't waste this pivotal advantage. Don't get in the habit of chasing kills between objectives as well. I like to stick to one area and one objective, and I found this to be more successful over the long term. You'll have waves where the enemy may attack one objective and you might not see any action, or you'll have other waves where it's you see all the action and the opposing objective sees none. So the second you leave your area, I found, either the enemy shows up at the objective you left, or you get killed in that middle area, no man's land, and you've just wasted time. So I'd suggest be patient. Additionally, you aren't necessarily in trouble if the enemy gets an objective quickly. If you focus on the objective you still have, as opposed to splitting up and trying to retake the lost one immediately, you'll usually have an entire team fighting to take or to keep your one objective, as opposed to being divided and split. Once teams have reached a stalemate fighting for that last remaining objective, you might be able to send out a squad of 4 or 5 to try and retake that lost objective. And even if you don't successfully retake it, a lot of the time you just going over to the other side will sort of divert their attention. They'll try and drop back, and then the team that still is defending the one objective can push the other team back. It's the ebb and flow of positioning. It's pivotal to sort of understand and sort of get that balance right. Last couple points. Prioritize the behemoths if you're the defending team. It doesn't mean everyone should try and take it out immediately and leave the objectives unwatched, but you can't allow it to live. On Oil of Operations with the Dreadnought ship, defenders can be absolutely obliterated by that ship because there's little to no cover around. Same with the behemoth in Ballroom Blitz, the airship. Take it out as quickly as you can, regroup, and try and defend those objectives, and I guarantee you're going to find your win percentage increase. I've been on teams that let it linger around and we get decimated just because they're too focused on an objective or kill-death ratio, I'm not sure. Just take out that behemoth. Additionally, same for vehicles. Take out enemy vehicles. Switch to assault if you have to. Many teams I've played on have ignored tanks completely, I suppose thinking that someone else would deal with them, or perhaps they weren't that big of a threat. Bad news. They are. A fortified heavy tank running around can take an objective by itself if no one has the means to take it out. So don't let enemy vehicles linger around unless you really want to lose. The difference too, think of it this way for you. If you're attacking, you want to keep these vehicles alive and do not carelessly waste them. I've seen so many times where, especially in Ballroom Blitz, like the third set of objectives, I believe, where you're in the fortress, there'll be times where I know that my teammates will try and push in to grab B in the middle, knowing that there's enemies both at ground level and above them, throwing grenades and trying to take it out, and it just gets blown up immediately. It's such a waste of a vehicle, waste of time for the team. Don't do this. Keep it alive. Be very cautious and be very deliberate about where you're going. Take out people in one area, push up to the next area. It'll help you out a lot. And additionally, I've had lots of selfless players, which is fantastic. If I was the repair guy or the driver for the tank, they'll have a support player go around and repair it as you go in addition to my repairs, and you can really do damage this way. Above all, and lastly, play the objectives. It can be extremely frustrating game type with behemoths and tons of way to die, but if you aren't attacking objectives, if you're attacking, and defending if you're defending, and you're just simply sitting off in the mountain trying to protect your kill-death ratio, or a medic that doesn't revive, or a support that doesn't drop ammo, you're in the wrong game mode. So, for this, Thanks again. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more videos, and maybe share it with a friend if you think it would be good for valuable tips and tricks for him, etc. Have a good one, YouTube, and thanks again for watching.